Alrighty, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Doc here from North America. It is Tuesday. Let me see what we got going on here. Starting off with the Swiss, you can see it on J4X, moving down just a tad. But, is that J? What is that? Oh, that's Aussie on top. Okay, let's see if we can get on our Chicago Quant. Let's get that on there. Right there. I must have missed it by just a tad. You can see it was up a little bit here today. See that high in there, and then it backed off again, and so the dollar is just kind of stumbling along. I guess it's the best way to describe it. No real conviction, as we used to say on the trading floor. I mean, obviously you can look at this. The conviction has been on the downside. We've been in a weekly sell, and the product has been sliding, but not anything out of the norm. I mean, the norm has been basically a 5.5–6% range on the upside and 5.5–6% on a range on the downside for literally the last few years. So it's not exactly falling apart in any way. It's just that there just doesn't seem to be that much of a conviction to make a real direction. You hear the story, oh, they're going to crush the dollar is going to fall apart, all these other things, but it doesn't really happen that way. It seems like the currency pairs overall, all the pairs seem to be very comfortable. They stay inside ranges unless there's issues going on. I mean, you have very few pulling the old long-term capital management situation with the Russian ruble. Russian ruble has been one that's really gotten pushed around over the years since quantitative easing. The Turkish Lira. Trying to think what else. Maybe there's a few out there that have gone a little wild, but nothing like those two. They've really taken off and just become, accentuated, I guess you could say. But you see here the dollar Swiss is a really good example of what the dollar is doing. When this is going down, let's see if we can highlight that better. When it's going down, obviously the dollar is going down, and when this goes up, like here, the dollar is going up. So it's a really good example to use. We used to use the euro. We used to use this, but sometimes the euro goes on a walkabout, does what it's going to do. Like in the case here today, you can see this is both are down, but then when we go back to the Swiss franc, you can see here the dollar is stronger against it. I mean, in other words, it's stronger against the dollar. I'm sorry, it's stronger against the dollar, whereas here it's the opposite. The euro is going down against the dollar. So, it's a better example, I think. While we're looking at it, there it is. Here's the euro. You can see a couple days in a buy, and you can see it's been in a buy since weekly buy since this spot right. We'll make that go all the way to the top for a second there. There it is. It's been in a weekly buy since the close of that week. Started off in the middle of this week. You can see here. That's the white line had broken through the time manifold and was starting to take off, and took towards the last couple of days to get it to go through and then confirm into the weekly buy. Sometimes it's a lot more fun when it jumps up there in the beginning of the week and you're in a daily buy like we were right here, which we can now shrink back down like that. And then the weekly buy joined in, and the product really had a nice move on the upside, or as we like to say around here, winner, winner, chicken dinner. And so that's been the action. And the euro has been showing some good life in it, too. That dotted line, I think, is like a top that we've been watching. Let's see if we can tighten it up, and then we'll take a look at it on J4X, because J4X is always better to watch. Yeah, you can see here, played with it there, right in here, and then receded back down again. And then when we move it over to here, you can see it did break out. Let's move this down a little bit. Let's see. There it is. You can see it broke out of it back in December of 2020. And then when the COVID thing kicked out, it got crushed. Now that the COVID thing is coming towards its end, you can see this thing is trying to drive itself back up to that area there. And there it is on the J4X. Let's see, right there. And you can see there, it's been marching along. A lot of green dots, just like the green dots we have here. The Hinky Ashi emulate our dots about 65% of the time. So, and unfortunately, the Hinky Ashi is a lag of about 4 to 5 hours too. But it's better than nothing, traders. You know, if you're trying to figure out where the trend is, I mean, you can always throw like a half hour. Let's take a look at a half hour and see how that looks. Or say an hourly. Well, we're trying to emulate a daily. So let's say a 4 hour and see what the 4 hour looks like. There you go, and it does reflect the weakness. You can see that weakness that kicked up, what is that? Right there on April 26th, last Friday, basically. Oop, let's move that over again. So like last Friday, it started to feel the pain, you know, or the selling. You can see last Friday, we closed up very firm. No, is that right? No, okay, that's Monday. Okay, so it started it on Monday. Let's see if we can get this going again there. Yeah, that's 9. And then there is, yeah, so it starts to reflect that weakness. Again, it takes a couple hours for it to start to reflect it. Now, we're not getting any red dots on ours either, so it's not like there's some type of warning coming from it. We didn't get like down here at the bottom, we got 2 days of red and green telling us that volatility was coming. And sure enough, we had a nice move, and now we're watching to see if we're going to get sometimes we get it, sometimes we don't. You know, you can see here where we got the red and green, and then you got a nice little pop. Sometimes it's big, sometimes it's small. You can't, there's another one right there. You know, you can't, it doesn't always pick up what the volatility is going to be, but it's always fun that it gives us a warning. Okay. Cable's the one that's interesting today because it's already through the buy number. You see it right there. And if it's, obviously, let's see if it refreshes, because now it's also giving us a volatility signal at the same time. This morning it wasn't doing that. That's interesting. So it's telling us that, you know, by the end of the day we might be in a daily buy. We went into that weekly buy last week, and here, even with the daily sell going on, and you know, we're going to see how this starts to play up. And we're in a weekly buy, and we get into a daily buy. Doc will be mumbling about 142. 142. You know, we think the cable will get the legs to get up into the 142s. We really do think that the thing wants to make a nice run past that point. We do think that this is just not technical in a sense. It's kind of not fundamental. It's just looking at it historically, and we don't really, you know, we've never been a big fan of thinking that the Brexit was a bad thing. And so before Brexit started, the product was trading in the 140, high 40s, low 50s, and we keep on thinking that it's going to go there again. It's going to get back to that point. And if we go and put, like, say, a monthly in here on the cable on J4X, you're going to see that the product fell apart in the high 140s, mid 150s when the Brexit was, you know, the conversation. And we just don't really... You know, it doesn't make any sense to us because, you know, the Brexit allowed them to get fully connected again to the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth is a economic bloc of the Great Britain, and the Queen is the head of it, and it has like, you know, there's Canada in it, and there's like 15 or 17 countries in it. And India is one of them, which has 1 billion people in it. And then it has Canada, and it has Australia and New Zealand, and it has Kenya, it has Nigeria, it has South Africa. There's a lot of solid countries there. Jamaica, Belize. You know, there's a lot of solid countries that, and they have almost 2 billion in population total. Now, due to the fact that Great Britain is sitting on the edge of the European Union, that's the classic location, location, location. So they break away from, when they were in the European Union, they were blocked from doing a lot of commerce in the Commonwealth. So we're thinking that, in my mind, I keep on thinking, well, they're back into the Commonwealth again. They've got a market of 2 billion now. I mean, isn't everybody excited about 1 billion in China? So if they're excited about 1 billion in China, then you have to be literally want to marry the Commonwealth. Oh my God, you know, you forget about love. You're going to marry the Commonwealth because, I mean, their income level overall is around $14,000 a family. Oh, China's nowhere near that. So, I don't understand the excitement of China. I've never did. I mean, I find it kind of absurd. But anyway, besides that, in the end result is that the Commonwealth now, Great Britain is involved in. And what do we see after Brexit? We see only strength in the cable. I mean, overall strength since the Brexit. And I'm believing, now this is the monthly. You can see here, before Brexit got rolling along, it tried to challenge these areas a few times. And before Brexit really got, the calamity of Brexit starting, it was in this region. So we just figured that it has to come back to that region, especially now that they're able to sell to the European Union on some level and also to the Commonwealth on any level they would like. I mean, that's 2.5 billion customers. I just don't understand how Brexit can be considered bad. So anyway, that's where we're at. All right, now let's jump back to, let me make that daily again. There's the cable itself on a day-to-day basis. And you can see the green, excuse me, you can see the green here. You can see here we're going back and forth a little bit with the red. We'll see how that goes. We got the volatility signal. And see if they get this thing moving back up again. All right. From there, what we do is we always jump over to the Turkish Lira. We heard something last night. We thought it was going to be more towards the line we've been expecting, but it didn't happen. You can see it's moving down again. And I think it also closed in a daily sell. What is that? Line... Where is it? Line, there it is. No, it's still in a daily buy, and today it must be flirting with the sell. So we're 6 weeks in a sell, 7 days in a buy. Let's take a look at the Turkish Lira. You can see the strength has been for like the last 5-6 days, 7 days on J4X up. And over on our Chicago Quant, right there, same situation. We went into the buy there, and today we are in the sell again. And we keep on thinking it wants to go bang through those cute little yellow dots up top of above. Let's put a line in there. Right there. And we'll make it reddish. Let's see if it survives the day. It looks like it will. Look how deep down it is. The white line has already pierced the bottom of the time manifold. The weekly just refuses to find a way to get into a buy. You can see it down here. I mean, it's way down below the time manifold of right there, the blue lines. I mean, good distance. We were, at the beginning of the week, starting to move up. I thought we were going to go into a weekly buy, and we saw this action, and we thought the strength. But nope, it rolled over. Hey, middle age, which looks more bullish, gold or silver? That's a good question. Let's go check it out. Check it out. What it is what it is. Okay, so here is silver. Right there, it's playing with the daily sell. It fell down there yesterday, but had a green dot, so it wasn't able to go into the sell. We figured we had the line, I think, already there because of the lines here. But end result is that you can see silver is trying to go down, but you can see it's definitely higher today than it was yesterday. But it's got a red dot thing going on, and it's what do you call this? The gas line 3 is showing weakness. We're in a weekly buy now, going on a fourth week. So I'd have to say that this is digesting again, going sideways. Now let's take a look at gold. And there's gold. Now gold, look at that. I guess I was supposed to put a red in there. That's what it is, I guess. Something like that. There it is. And red is playing with the daily sell now. That's what it is. Oops, we sent that out the wrong way. Oh my goodness. Any of you traders out there that are using Doc's charts, watch out for the gold. The gold needed to have that line put in as a red because this is, let's see if we can widen this. You can see here the gas line 5, whoop, wrong direction. Gas line 5 is below the 0 line at the moment. You can see it right there. Minus, plot 1 is minus 0.22. And you can see the plot 4 is minus 52. So it's feeling some pain in there, but look at the weekly. The weekly's holding up pretty strong there, just like silver. Good question. Okay, so let's think now. How could we? How can we make a case which one is stronger? Well, we see here that it's been in a weekly buy for how long? On the fact check spreadsheet, you can see that we are 2 weeks in a weekly buy, and we are 18 days in a daily buy. Now let's go check out. So it's been a while. That's over 3 weeks. It's been in a buy. Now let's check out the silver. Silver is 4 weeks in a weekly buy at the moment. That's line 8 right there, but only 9 days in a daily buy. Interesting question. All right. I don't know. That's a good question, because that, if we can find some technical analysis that would justify it. I'll see. I've been watching the SEP 30 call strike in silver. Thanks. Yeah. If we can come out with a good answer that we can justify, you can try to see how it goes. Who is it is it Daniel that likes to watch the silver gold ratio? If Daniel was around here, maybe he could tell us what the ratio is, and we could look and see. You would think, because it's cheaper, that that silver would be the better play. It's so hard to say. I don't really have anything technical. One's been in a weekly buy a week longer. The other one's been in a daily buy twice the length. Gold's been twice the amount of time in a daily buy. You would think that the 18 days in a daily buy, it's flirting with a daily sell right now. Let's go back to it again. You would think that maybe it's going to take a break. I don't know. You can see we had a red dot there yesterday, but we were held up here. Let's just give it a refresh again. I don't know, that's a good question. I don't have too much to say, I guess, except for the fact that, it went from the low 17s to the high 17s, or did it even touch 18? It didn't make it. It got 17.98. So it went $100 up on the daily buy. By the time it got into the weekly buy, it was in the 50s, I think. Right there, 40s. Yeah, it was in the 40s. So I don't know. It's a good question. Which one will outperform the other? I don't think I have an answer for you. I don't see anything particular that is screaming at me at the moment that says, be long or be wrong type of thing. I guess we'll have to watch and see how they both go into their daily sell, and then see how they come out of it, and see if they hold on to the weekly buy and they start to take off in the daily buy again as being in a weekly buy. Then maybe we'll be able to give you a tip off of which one might outperform the other. How's that sound? Because we don't want to give you pie in the sky, and if we don't see anything that's telling us anything, there's no way we're going to give you a technical opinion about the a particular market that's not really giving us any information. No problem at all. No problem at all. You are one of our option traders, that come into the webinar here, and it's nice to always see option binary traders show up. Binaries are a fun thing. It's like trading spreads it's trading spreads in the option universe. So you're buying an option and selling an option against it, reducing your risk, and that's always fun, and always smart. Reduce your risk is the key to the name of the game. All right, and so what we'll do, middle-aged muscle, we'll keep an eye on that, and I will keep that in the back of my mind. And the moment I see something that might tip us off, I will mention it. I definitely will mention it. All right, let's jump into where we go from here. Oh, we were looking at the currencies, right? Yeah, so we'll go to Canadian. Let's check out the Canadian. We just finished the Lira, right? We just double check. Right there, there it is. Yeah, there's the Lira right there. Okay, so we finished the Lira, and let's check out the Canadian. Interesting in the sense that, it went into the weekly sell last week, and it's in the daily sell, and it's moving down, which is, strong against the dollar. That always insinuates stuff like oil should be stronger. So we'll see how that plays itself out. And then the NASCAD, which is really funny because NASCAD, the loonie, and then NAS US are kind of marching along a little differently. There's the NAS dollar. You can see it's moving up against the dollar, and it's in a weekly buy from. Is that right there? What's on the fact check spreadsheet? Is that 2? Yeah, it's a 2. No, it's not a 2. It's a 7. It's a 7? Something's wrong there. NAS spot. Okay, we haven't. How did that happen? It should be a 1. That's what it should be. Look at that there. I don't know why it's a 7 still. I guess we missed that altogether. Did they get that? Wrong keyboard. That's half the reason. Punch on the wrong keyboard. There it is. So it's in a weekly buy by 1 day. And then I noticed it's in a daily buy for a few days. This is the 3rd day. Let's see. It's the 3rd day. Now the NASCAD, which is interesting, was in a daily sell for the last couple of days. And it also is now it's 2 weeks in a buy. So they're just kind of usually they march together pretty much, which is kind of interesting. In this case here, excuse me, let me take a sip of water. So this case here, I'm thinking that the oil should be firm in here. Ah, good sip. Let's see now. Let's see where crude oil is. There's gold. Yeah, crude closed last night in a daily buy. That's what it was. I think it's on the fact check spreadsheet. Right. Let's hope. Yes, right there. So it's a week in a buy, a day in a buy, and it's trying to lift up. And that would make sense. The two currency pairs are telling us that we're seeing strength in that. And then let's see, we zip over to some of the other energy sector. Right there, the natural gas. Look at that. Natural gas touching the 290 area. This early in the season. Interesting. That global cooling, for us people in science, the planet is going into a global cooling. It's not going into a global warming. So maybe that's half the reason right there. Global cooling, Robin, not global warming. What's shaking, Bacon?
Global cooling?
Yeah.
Did you say global cooling?
Yeah, we're going towards an ice age right now.
Yeah. I need July. May's not going to cut it.
Okay. All right, I'll send it right over to you now.
Okay.
Roger Dodger that. We're writing an article on July wheat today. Let's go and find July wheat. There it is. I mean, these grains, we don't talk about them too much around here. They are used as currencies, of course, but these grains have been going through the roof. I mean, nutso city. Right. Let's see. July wheat is right there. No, wait a minute. July wheat. There's July wheat. Okie doke. And let's give that a refresh. I mean, it went from 650 to 750 in like 5 days. We've been in a daily and a weekly buy. I mean, it's been that way. You can see it with all our grains. Our math has picked up the whole move. I mean, the whole move. And if you're a producer, it also picked up the meats in the opposite direction. Now that is live cattle in February of 2022, and then when you look at live cattle, look at the action. Our math picked up the live cattle action. There's June, and we went to the weekly sell in here. We went into a daily sell right there. I mean, caught that whole move. Whereas it got weird for a while. The meats and the grains were running together. It was really strange. Oh yeah, let's give Robin July wheat. Let me go back to that. The 4th of July, right there. Activate. Reload. Now you can see there it's been in a weekly buy for 2 full weeks. Like I said, it ran all the way up $1 a bushel. Wow. And let's save the July wheat. Let's see, where do we put it? Do we even have it here? Let's put it there. And that would be N like in Nancy. There we are. And then let's send it over to him. And that'll let him do his thing. There we are. Attach. Right there. July wheat. All right. Now, where did we leave off before we jumped into the foodstuffs? Close. There we are. All right. So there is the NASCAD. That's right. And we were looking at the energy. So natural gas. That's what it is. Natural gas. Woof. Woof. It's taken off. Interesting. Yeah, global cooling, traders. We're not going to global warming. Forget about that. Forget about it. And in the Geological Society, the number one outlet for reading, all this stuff, came out and said, yeah, something's wrong here. CO2 doesn't really fit the scenario. They came out there last week, said, just CO2 just does not fit. It has no real meaning to the weather. So, oh well, what are you going to do? I think it's like a religion, the global warmers. All right, and it's because it's surely not science. That's one thing we know. So there's nat gas. And these things should go up. We're going into a global cooling at this point. And so we're going to need more energy to keep ourselves warm, or we'll perish. It's one or the other at this point. All right, where do we go next? So we saw the energies. Now we'll go back to the currencies, and we'll take a look at the ruble. Right there, ruble's been moving down for days now, weeks now. And went into the weekly sell. Oh, no, it didn't go into the weekly sell last week. It's playing with the weekly sell right now, which is kind of interesting. Middle Age, I appreciate it. I booked 50,000 profit in some of my coffee. Calls yesterday, Doc, my work and your quants really helped in the trade. Let's take a look at that. Oh, I appreciate that too. Middle Age, thank you. Yeah, it's it's epistemic. We'll use that word. Some people may not understand it. It means that it's everywhere. Epistemic. It's everywhere. That's what it is. The word epistemic. It's an English word, and it's not quitting. That's the thing, is it just doesn't quit. The commodities are moving up. First it was the certain commodities were being used. Ooh, look at that. Coinbase is filling in even more. Some of the commodities, there it is right there. Java. Yeah, I guess we were looking at something here, weren't we? Let's fix that. Some of the commodities were doing fine, Now they're just moonshots. I mean, really. I mean, they're incredible. Maybe we'll change it to yellow. This way it identifies it better like that. There we are. Yeah, look at that. This was in a sell throughout that whole period. Jumped back into the buy in here. And daily buy went into the buy here. Boy, the last 5 days, Middle Age, has it been a good run in the last 5 days? I imagine it has. Now, this is an ETF. So let's see. There, it looks like it beat that high out of September of 2020. And there, I guess let me go back to the high now. Yeah, and it took out the high of April of 20. And now it's challenging the high of December of 2019. Wow. That's interesting action, price-wise. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. That is so cool. Yeah. And then we went into the weekly buy last week, right there, on our ETF. Matter of fact, it started off in here, in that area, right with the daily buy. the weekly jumped in right there, and then obviously it doesn't confirm until the end of the week. And so then it jumped in somewhere around in here through the zero line, and then boy, it was just a mad dash up. Let's see. Middle Age says KC went to 144 yesterday. Wow, nice. I used to trade next to that pit, the coffee pit. When I traded the dollar index and the knife, the New York Stock Exchange index. Yeah, it was a fun place to trade. They had, I think it was like orange juice was right near us, and what was it? Cotton and cocoa was right around us. All the softs, it's fun stuff. And then was it in Trading Places? What was it? That was orange juice. That's right. They used our pit for Trading Places because the knife pit was like the biggest pit on that side, and then on the other side of the room was the oil pit, and so that was like the biggest pit in the room. And then I'm trying to think. Us gold, I guess, was pretty big, decent size. Copper was a really interesting one. It reminded me of the Board of Trade. This was at the old CEC. It was always fun. Matter of fact, for September 11th, I always watch Trading Places because you see the trading floor at the World Trade Center. It's like I always tell traders, you got to watch Trading Places. You got to do it. So, yeah, it was a fun era when they were all next to each other like that, and the pits were action. So, let's see. Let me think. What else can we say about this, that, or the other thing? Let's see. Where do we go from here? All right. So that's right. We were in the coffee Olay. Let's take a look. Let's do this. Where did we leave off? We went from what commodity were we in? Let's go over to the. No, we were in the currencies. Let's go back to the currencies. There's the ruble. We saw that. We look at the yen. You can see the yen is now battling its way into a daily buy. Gave us the volatility signal yesterday. It's lifting up today. But we're still in that weekly sell. So we'll see how that plays out. And then we go over to the Mexican peso. Where's the Mexican peso? Right there. Mexican peso. Oh, look at that. Daily buy today. Kicking up again. Interesting. It's doing a little step hesitation in here. Weekly is still in a weekly sell. We'll see how long that lasts. Each daily buy so far since we've gone into this weekly sell here. You can see each time it goes into a daily buy. Where was it? The first one was right there, I guess. So we've had two volatility signals. And then each time it rolls over the next day. We'll see what this does. This one rolled over. Now it's doing it again. We'll see how tomorrow brings on the Mexican peso. Let's see. Let's jump over to, from here we go to the metals, which we already looked at with Middle Age. And let's see, what else can we say about that? Let me think. I guess that's about it. Let's go over to the metals again. Let's take a look at copper. Right there. Copper is doing the same gig also. Running up, it's fighting to go to that all-time high stuff, And we closed in a weekly buy last week, and boy, it's like they've, closing in the weekly buy last week and being in a daily buy, it's really put some juice into the push on the upside. And that's usually the way it goes. That's why we recommend anybody trading in the hard delta to wait for the two to join together. It's usually a pretty good, trade. And obviously, like someone like middle age who trades binaries and options, you can jump in earlier, because you have a limited loss factor. So, well, all we're trying to do is reduce your risk by making, having the rule that you want the weekly and a daily together, in the same direction. All right. That's that. What other metal? Oh, let's go take a look at platinum. See what the platinum's up to. Platinum, oh, moving down a little bit. So we're looking at 1248 on platinum. Let's put gold up on J4X so we can compare the two. There it is right there. That's trading at 1781. So basically the spread's back down to 533, 532, something like that. 533. See 50. Yeah, like 533. So that's not too bad. You know, it had jumped up to like 585, 590. And, you know, it's moving right back down again. All right, now, how now, brown cow? Let's see. Let's take a look at, let's see, what do? We go from there, we go over to the cryptos. That's what it is. That's why I left this up. So we're really starting to, you know, we're really following the Coinbase. And Robin was telling me yesterday that he heard at the Chicago Mercantile Group, they're going to start a mini Bitcoin future, which probably will straighten things out when it comes to getting live action, because we're really having problems here with the Bitcoin, with the giant contract. It's just not liquid enough, and you would think it would be. I mean, I would think it would be. We really want an ETF. An ETF and that together will open the doorway. But let's check out the. What am I looking at again? Oh, yes. So there it is. Oh, wait a second. Where did our 396 go? It didn't save it. What in blazes? So let's fix that. Remember that? I think it was. We fixed that yesterday. We went, you know, because we have enough ticks now. And we can go with 396. We'll go with the good old Tesla thing. It's going to have to do some... There it is right there. And then let's try saving that again. Save. Save as. Voila. Perfect. And you can see here they gapped up. You can see the buy goes in. Let's see if we can do this. Which one is it? That one will do. So you can see here, we'll move this around. We'll make this white too. So like that. There it is. And put that in like so. You can see here it goes into the buy. It does go up. You know, it's nice. Goes into the sell. It goes down in value. It reads it pretty well here. It's very liquid. It's, you know, it's becoming a good product. Now this is the Coinbase stock. You know, it's the exchange. You can see there, it's become a good tool. I guess we could do with 693. Let's try 693 and see if that smooths it out a little bit more. 693. We reversed the Tesla number. Not as sensitive, no. Yeah, see some volatility stuff going on. It shortens the day too. You can see. See, it does catch a trend, but the problem is that, you know, I think the 396 is probably the better of the two. Oh, let's just look through the last 5-6 days. Yeah, I guess, you know, it's okay. And remember, we did this mainly so we could try to emulate the daily for the time being, you know, until we get, you know, because here's the daily. It's, you know, it hasn't caught up yet. We need another dozen days in there for the daily, right there. I mean, that's all there is. It's like the song. That's all there is. Let's see. So, what a quiet day again today. I think a lot of people like to watch this on the... They can fast forward through my crazy. They watch it through the video. Sometimes I get a live crowd in here, and, you know, very active crowd, and then sometimes we get nothing going on. All right. Want to see Apple? Let's see Apple. We're here. There it is. 3 days in a buy. I understand Amazon's talking about splitting its stock, and they're going to put it in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. That would be interesting. So that would be 7 NASDAQ stocks over there. Wow. One day we'll probably see 15. Well, I don't know if... Yeah, I think... It'll be interesting to see how long it takes before the Dow Jones Industrial Average has equal NASDAQ stocks as it does New York Stock Exchange stocks. That'll be interesting to see. It will. It'll be fun to see. You know, the Dow Jones Industrial Average and the utility index and the transportation are the old marketing tools of the old NYSE. Now the NYSE is owned by ICE, and I heard something else they're talking about doing. Opening the floor up. The floor is closed. Not closed, but it's limited. They're talking about starting to have broadcast from the floor again, you know, and give everybody the old flavor of the floor, you know, which is always kind of neat. All right, let's see. We can close this out like that. Yeah, you can see Apple's been in a weekly buy for like 5 weeks. And let's see. Now what we do is, since we've looked at the crypto, and let's take a look at was it Bitcoin itself? Right there, there it is. You see, now that was plus yesterday. I'm not sure why that's minus, but you can see here the weekly's back over it again, trying to stay up in the buy. This is definitely fighting. Yeah, that's today. So it's still fighting to be in the buy. I think we labeled it as 2 days in a buy. So I'm not sure what malfunction is there. There's the Friday. There's the Monday. And that, I guess it should be 1 day in a buy going on 2. That's what it really comes down to. And it'd be nice to see this thing close in a weekly buy. Like I said, over the last couple of days and weeks, you know, the sell down from 64 was more of mechanics than it was paranoia. You know, big seller got out on the weekend. You know, sold out about $1.5 billion, which is not a lot anymore in that product. You know, the Treasury was talking something here in the United States. The Department of Justice was talking about something. The Securities Exchange Commission was saying something negative. Oh, they're all saying something negative. They were really trying to shake up the product and the crypto universe, but Ethereum didn't pay attention to it and kept on rolling. So, you know, we'll keep on watching it and seeing how they go. And from there, we do this. We go to the stock indices. So you can see here, let's put it up on J4X. Here's the Tech 100 on Dukascopy right there. And that's the NASDAQ 100. That's the indice that we're talking about that has, you know, like all the majors in it. You know, the biggest companies in the world now. It used to be the New York Stock Exchange. Its indices had the largest companies in the world. Now it's the NASDAQ. And they have earnings that justify it. That's the funniest part of it all. You can see here the NASDAQ is on, you know, moving along into the buy for the third day? Second? Yeah. So I don't know why that red dot is there. Let's give it a refresh. Maybe it'll go away. No, it still stayed there. But it was just, it put us in the buy back there on Friday. And we've been in a weekly buy since here. So it's been pretty firm. Not making any massive moves. It's just kind of moving up slow and steady. Same thing with the S&P 500. Doing the same exact thing. 2 full days in a buy going on a third. You know, slowly grinding up. You know, just that slow push on the upside there. Then you can see the Dow Jones Industrial Average slid into the sell there yesterday, and today it is flirting with a volatility dot combination. You know, the red and the green right there, and we'll see how that. See if it closes in a daily buy there by the end of the day. And you can see here it's been in a weekly buy since March, the beginning of March, since the 3100 area, 31500 area, and now we're at the 34 or 33, 33 eighths, 33 5. You know, it's not really going anywhere particular with Mr. Biden, but it's staying firm. You know, it was 31 with Mr. Trump, and it's up a couple thousand points, but not really doing much anymore. Just kind of ziggy-zagging around. You know, just kind of slowly pushing, trying to get some action into it. Let's see. Well, that's about it when it comes to... Oh, and let's take a look at the Russell 2000. That kind of emphasizes the the most speculative of the stocks of them all. There it is. There, they put it into daily buy. I guess what, a few days ago. Let's put the daily buy in there, right there, and you can see we are flirting with a weekly buy as we speak with no problem. So maybe that's a sign of more action. I mean, I'm getting all kinds of signals that this market wants to explode. We're just not sure which way it's going to explode. And, we just follow the weeklies from there. And that's pretty much the only way we can. Just keep on following the weeklies. And that's the 4 stock indices with the cryptos. Now, we look at the cryptos as a new asset class altogether. So I don't really think of it as a currency. It has abilities to act like a transfer, because of the blockchain technology. It has all these great opportunities, but it's not really a currency. That's why I don't think the fear from the Securities Exchange Commission or the DOJ or even the Federal Reserve, I don't think they can really interfere with it with that blockchain technology, because it could just go into the dark web. I mean, it's not, it's just not a technology that they can crack at the moment. So it really is an asset class. They can interfere with it if you try to transfer it into, currencies per se. But when it comes to selling it to somebody and moving it around and then transferring money, they can get away with that. They seem to be able to get away with that in certain parts of the world on the dark web. So it really does irritate the federales, the nation states. They don't really like the idea that somebody can move around them and produce a equity the way they do with currencies and so forth and bonds. All right, and so where'd we go from here? That was the NAS. That was the no, that's not that. Let's go back to it again here, right there. So that's the Russell 2000. It's showing that strength in there. Now you can see when we contract this up, these are the most speculative stocks. You can see it goes through some capitulations, goes into a sell, thing breaks down, goes into a buy, jumps back up, goes into a sell, breaks back down. And these are weekly signals. Forget about the daily. I mean, this thing's just rocketing all over the place. Goes into a buy here on, is that the close or that the close? That's the close right there at the top. Goes into a daily sell 2 days later. Goes a little down, not much, just goes sideways. Goes back up and then goes into a sell here. And you can see the weekly sell there, and it goes down again for like 3 or 4 days. And then now we're flirting right here with a buy, and there's the all-time high right there. So it seems to be joining in again with the rest of the stock indices. They're starting to reach for the NASDAQ, not the NASDAQ, the Russell 2000, which again is the most speculative of all the stock indices out there nowadays. So in the U.S., that is. All right, let's see, where do we go from here? We go from stock indices. I guess that's usually like towards the end of it all, isn't it? So we've been moving along pretty fast today. What else can we look at in here on that sector? I guess that's about it. So that's stock indices. I guess we're a currency / like gold, silver type of webinar. So, and energy. So I guess what we can do is we can look at, let's see, what product should we go check out from here? I'm sure there's some area that would make sense to us. I guess we could go look at the currencies. Maybe take a look at the South African rand and see, how that is relating to the metals complex. We've done that before. Maybe that will give us a hint of what is going on there overall. So let's take a look at that. And that is dollar rand right there. It has been moving down last I saw. Last time we talked about it, we had this much extra time. We could see that it was moving down. It was at the beginning of April. And we've been in the daily sells from here. And then we'll see. I guess today is really the first day out of that whole move here with this with our manifolds, the lines trying to move into the plus side, we're getting an actual buy signal. So when we look at the RAND, and it's been going down since March, let's see. What's curious, it took a while for it to get into the weekly sell, though. Look at how far it had to go. Let's take a look and see what the metals complex is doing in the same time period. See if we can find some type of relationship between the two. So March 8th, gold kind of bottomed. There's the 5th. There's the 8th right there. Gold bottomed. That is gold, right? Yeah, gold bottomed and basically climbed, went into a daily buy, and then sold off a little bit and then jumped in a second time. So that's kind of interesting. The RAND is trying to move up. It's reflecting this weakness that we're seeing in the metals complex. And I guess let's take a look at silver and see what they did around March 8th. March 8th. There it is right there. I guess if we scrunch this up a little bit. Okay, so there's the beginning of March. It put a low in on the 5th, and then the Monday was the 8th. And you can see it ran up, corrected. What's that all about? That doesn't belong there. Let's get rid of that altogether. Then went into the buy here, and then did a little digestion in here. So they both join in with the RAND. Let's take a look at the RAND again. So the RAND went into that. Where's it at? Right there. So it went into a buy here, went into the sell there. Let's put that in there. And that was the 10th. And that was the top on the 8th, right there. And then there's the 9th. So there's your top. And it found a way to move down in direction as gold was going up in direction and silver was moving up in direction. We don't always coordinate with the South African Rand, because they have a lot of other things going on, so it's not a sole metal play. We used to use, what was it, the Australians. The Aussie was a really good example. At one time back over a decade ago, we used to use the Aussie before all this quantitative easing stuff. Follow the Aussie for metals complex. In fact, why don't we take a look at that? That would be interesting to see too. See how that acted at March 8th. Since that's a very heavy mineral country. Yeah, so let's see. There's the top came in that. Now see, that is a week and a half before. That's February 24th, and then there's March. There's your March 8th. It bottoms and goes up with the metals. And then breaks down and then is going up again with the metal. Interesting. We used to watch the strength in the Aussie against the dollar. When we saw the strength in the Aussie, usually we thought, okay, we're going to see some strength in the metals complex. That's the way we looked at it a couple decades ago. And then quantitative easing came along. Changed the whole scenario because now Aussie was considered one of the smallest of the majors. Now there's so many miners that trade very well now, like the majors, because of the distribution of the quantitative easing that's going on and the hunt for yield. I mean, the yield hunt goes on day in and day out. I mean, when you have, what did we talk about? Was it almost 18 trillion invested in minus yield? That really shakes up the world. And that's not billion or million, that's trillion. 18 trillion in asset, bonds that don't yield anything. You buy that bond and you have to pay interest to own the bond. They don't give you interest. That's definitely a break from the last 5,000 years in investing. So it's definitely weird. And that's where we are with this whole, quantitative easing gig that goes on. So, all right. So let's, so we can do this is that we'll drift back to the South African rand against the dollar right there. And you can see the strength trying to kick out today. We'll see if that goes into buy. That'll just reflect the weakness that we're seeing here, right there. Now in this case, this thing's lifting up. Look at that. I guess we're getting some buying in here. Let's go look at gold. I guess they're trying to pick up. I guess this was minus, right? Yeah. So I guess we can actually remove that. It's plus now. Our gas lines are turning up. I guess we can remove that. We were explaining something about that. There we are. So, okay. So buying has come back into the metals complex. Huh. Interesting. All right, traders. This is Doc from North America. We've had enough fun. We will catch you all on Happy to Hump Day Wednesday. So Doc says, arrivederci. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Ta-ta for now.